I would like to discuss with you the process of a bill. No, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about the bill that becomes our law we follow every single day. Have you ever wondered who decides our speed limits or why it's against the law to sing off-key in the state of North Carolina? Me too. So let's go on this process together. First off, the bill starts in the drafting stage. So this means it can be from members of Congress, the executive branch, or even outside groups. So after it gets discussed and it's a thought, it's introduced to the House of Representatives. And then from there, after the House of Representatives, the Speaker of the House sends it to a committee. This is where bills typically die. In the committee, it can do a number of different things. It can be pigeonholed, which means it's set aside off and there for a later discussion. It can be tabled, which basically means they're not going to do anything with it. It can be amended, which means they make changes to that bill, or they just go ahead and pass it along. If it's passed along, then it gets sent to the Rules Committee. And they decide the rules for the debate and when it's going to be debated on for the bill, and when it will be debated. So when it's being debated, it gets sent to the floor, and this is where all of the House of Representatives discuss it and decide on the bill. From there, it can be amended again. They can make changes. They can just veto it outright. But if 2/3 majority passes on the bill, then it gets sent to the Senate. And from there, it's kind of the same process. The Senate talks about it. It goes to another committee, and then they vote on it. And so everything is majority rules. So as long as it's being voted on majoritarily, then it's going to continue to get passed. Well, in the Senate, if it gets passed, it goes back to the House of Representatives. Now, they have the decision, if there's been any changes made by the Senate, they can decide to veto that, in which case it is then sent to another committee that is represented by both the Senate and the House of Reps, and they collaborate and they come up with a compromise for the bill. And then once they're done with that, it gets sent back in, and the entire Senate and the House votes on it. And at this point, if it gets approved, it gets sent to the president's desk. Okay. Now the president has some more options as well. He can just let it sit on his table and do nothing. He can sign it, and it just becomes law right there, or he can veto it. If he vetoes it, though, it's not the end of the road for this bill. It gets sent back to Congress, and if they put it through a majority rules vote, then they can overrule the president's veto, and it will become law right there. So that is the process of a bill. It was really kind of a neat thing to learn about. Need to learn more about our government. So again, I just want to say it's so important who you choose to elect to represent your state, because they're the ones that make these laws and these bills, and so it's very important to get out there and know who you're voting for and why you're voting for them. And it's also important to get in touch with these members of Congress if you have questions or concerns, because we all play a role in this part. And so I encourage you to get out there and to learn more this election year. Thanks for joining me, guys.